Welcome to the True North Racing Podcast, your go-to show for all things racing from coast to coast. We're here to chat with your favorite racers and bring you the latest from the world of short track racing. Hosted by John Morrison and Brandon Feeney. Get ready for fast cars, big personalities, and all the racing action you can handle. Ready? Green, green, green.
Welcome to the True North Racing Podcast presented by Driving with Hailey. I'm your host, John Morrison. As you guys can see, we no longer have Megan. We got Brandon Feeney in the house tonight as we officially unveil, I guess, the 2025 show, but we're doing it a Christmas special. As you know, I like to always joke that we're not going to do one or, say, oh, this is the last show of the year. It's on the schedule. Don't get it twisted. I always have to do something a little about a month in. I get bored.
Yeah, and we should just start dressing up as the Grinch for this holiday episode. Because every year, we're not gonna do it. Then it's like we're doing it.
We're doing it. Yeah. You know what? Maybe we should do that one year. Just do just dress up in a freaking costume or something like that while we record the show.
Or maybe if we do a live show at one of our events or something like that, we'll do Grinch and Santa Claus.
Oh, I call Santa.
You would be a way better Grinch.
I'm already fat.
Yeah, but you could Soldier Boy as the Grinch.
Oh man. You know what? That would be the best thing ever. But how's your off season been going so far?
Man, it's been super busy. We went and got the modified painted. Got the
looks
motor
amazing,
out, and it's not even done yet. So a lot of people don't know that the bars aren't on it for obvious reasons because they're still being painted. I left them behind. They are going to match the chassis. We're bringing that lime green outside the car too.
Oh God!
So it goes probably next week for getting the vinyls and the numbers and stuff like that. So it's pretty much trying to get it all prepared for Motorama and how good can I make it look, and try to attract some sponsorship.
How is the spot? And because I'm on the other end of it with the out here, what is hunting for a sponsorship like?
Basically, when you first start trying to date when you're younger, you go up and ask everyone that's available, and you get told no a lot, and eventually get told yes.
You know what? That's a really good analogy, I guess. Obviously, it's tough though. It's tough to get sponsorships in today's day and age.
Yeah, and you got to do a lot for a sponsor. When I first started racing and doing demolition derbies and stuff like that, you could walk up to any business and be like, "Oh, if you give me $100, I'll put you in the car," and it was next to nothing for the business to throw $100 at you. They'd almost do it to get you out the doors. Yeah. And then sponsoring local fairs at the raceway and stuff like that started to die down for their ad revenue, and it became all social media. So it went from just putting stickers on cars to now you're logoing the car, you're doing social media, you're doing events with the sponsors, bringing the car out, as many videos and stuff you can, using Jomo Media Promotions to have all your updates. And it's just one of those things that it went from literally 15 minutes of putting a sticker or spray bombing the logo on your car to logos, everything all week. Every post you do of the race car has to be tagged, and it's well worth it. But at the same time, it's just a lot of people have to learn how to do that extra to keep a sponsor happy.
And you know what? And it's crazy because there are people who have done such a hell of a job getting and maintaining the sponsors. And one of them is Gary Elliott. 50 years with Quaker State. Dude knows how to keep a sponsor happy.
Yeah, and it's one of those things 50 years with Quaker State. And it's when he first started, it was probably hey, you got some oil I can use?
Yeah.
And now it's imagine how much it's changed for Gary. It changed.
Go finish off.
Like it changed from like, we'll put oil in the car, have a couple jugs. Now it's like, take a video putting your oil in the car and stuff like that. Like it's probably changed 16 times for him, and we're complaining about like 2.
You know what? I've been wanting to get Gary back on the show because I think that would be a great topic to discuss about in sponsorship and how to keep and maintain. Because, like I said, he's done 50 years.
51
like,
now, isn't it?
50 was
51,
last year,
52.
Wasn't it? 50 plus. How about that? We go 50
Yeah.
plus. And you're right. He's that's half a century. He's seen he's gone through different people, point of contacts. He's probably gone, there's been so many different things about what he's needed to do. So I think you're right. We need to get Gary back on the show and talk to him about sponsorship in motorsports.
He's always a good time to talk to because he has so many stories. Like he will tell you what we did, like me and him side by side at what lap at what race.
Yep.
I wish I had that kind of memory. I can't remember what I did to the car last week, let alone freaking what I did 2 years ago at Colors.
Which, the time where you drove like 4 different vehicles, or
which time?
Yeah, see, that's exactly it. It's we're in the off season. We got a lot going on behind the scenes here at Joe Media Promotions. We've signed a bunch of drivers. I got to get one more shared tomorrow. So we're going to give a quick rundown of all the drivers we do have right now, because we do want to give them a shout out, because all these drivers that are up on our site right now are all in for a giveaway that we are doing with Darren Dryden and DJD Gear. That's going to take place shortly in the new year. Each driver has a chance to win a free pair of custom DJD Gear gloves. Darren and DJD Gear have jumped on board with us this year. We're excited to partner with them. Got a lot of cool things going on behind the scenes. I'm excited for this partnership. But so far we have Sarah Gianni. She's going to be running a bone stock up at Sunset Speed. We've got Ty Cavalin returning in his pro late model. We got Corey Horn out at Peterborough Speedway, moving up to the Renegade trucks.
And also the bone stock part-time.
Yeah, he'll run in bone stock part-time. We got Avery Kirkpatrick in the junior late models. John Carley from the Canadian Vintage Modifieds. We also have Jacob Sutcliffe, mini stock driver up at Sunset Speedway. Of course, our co-host, Brandon Feeney, as he returns to the Modifieds. Jay Pepin in his Canadian Vintage Modified. Maddox Pepin in his CVM. Tenley Pepin in our Ontario Pro Challenge. White Sutcliffe in his mini stock up at Sunset Speedway. Killian Collins, micro sprint up at Grand Bend. Victoria McLennan, pure stock, bone stock out at Peterborough Speedway. And Michael Robinson III, who'll be running a mini stock as well. And of course, I got a last one, number 41, Corey Halbert. He'll be joining us again as he's our Brighton Speedway dirt guy.
Canadian Modifieds division.
Canadian Modified division at that. We're excited to work with them again. And but yeah, all those drivers that we have just announced, I'll have an opportunity to win a free pair of custom. Actually, sorry, Feeney, you're out of it. Sorry, we can't have you in case you win.
I figured I was out, but I was probably going to message him for new gloves because mine are getting worn out anyway.
Hey, we got a great deal going on with them, so hit them up. But yeah, we this is I'm excited to work with every single driver we got. It's it's one of those deals that we love who we work with, and we're excited and we got a couple new drivers in Avery Kirkpatrick and Killian Collins. I'm excited, and Michael Robinson III. Those are 3 drivers that are new to Joe Media Promotions for 2025, and we're excited to partner with them and to work with them and showcase them in 2025. But the CVMs and the Pro Challenge have both dropped their schedules. So that means Jay Pepin, Maddox Pepin, and Tenley Pepin and John Carley all have their schedules updated. To be fair, John Carley and Maddox I haven't gotten to yet. but I have finished Jay Pepin's and Tenley Pepin's as well. So head on over to joemedia.ca, click the drivers tab, scroll down till you find Jay Pepin and Tenley, and click on them to see when and where they will be racing in 2025. Before we continue on, and before we get into this week's guest with our graphic design studio guest segment of the week, we have one final Driving with Hailey vehicle spotlight for you guys. Check this out. Hey adventurers, are you ready to take on the road less traveled? Say hello to the 2023 Jeep Wagoneer SE, the rugged beauty that's built to handle any adventure with ease and style. With features like navigation, a premium sound system, and adaptive cruise control, it's your ultimate companion for exploring the great outdoors or just cruising through the city. This sleek Jeep is dressed in a diamond black crystal pearl coat and boasts a global black Napa leather interior, so it's as stunning as it is tough. With only 81,502 kilometers on the odometer, it's got plenty of adventures left in it. Under the hood, you will find a twin-turbo, regular unleaded, inline-six 3-liter, ready to conquer whatever comes your way. Add in the 8-speed automatic transmission with 4-wheel drive and you got a match made in off-road heaven. You'll feel smoother than a moose on a summer day. And let's talk about amenities. The heated mirrors will defog faster than you could say maple syrup, while the power lift gate makes loading your gear easier than ever. Plus, with cooled front seats, you'll stay comfy on those scorching summer road trips. The lane keeping assist, it's your vigilant co-pilot, more reliable than a Canadian goose guarding its nest. Tech lovers, this one's for you. The Wi-Fi hotspot keeps you as connected as a beaver to its dam. If the remote engine start, it's like having a warm cup of Tim's coffee waiting for you on a frosty morning. The 2023 Jeep Wagoneer SE stands tall against the competition like a proud Mountie in the wild. With its turbocharged engine and luxury touches, it's ready for whatever comes next. Trust me, this is one ride you don't want to miss. Get ready to unleash the adventure within. Head on over to Driving with Hailey on Facebook and Instagram and contact Hailey Hill today to get yourself behind the wheel of this Jeep Wagoneer. You can also give her a call at 289-808-2828 or hhill at rightride.ca. That's Hailey Hill with Driving with Hailey at 289-808-2828 or hhill at rightride.ca. Thank you to Driving with Hailey for being the presenting sponsor of the True North Racing Podcast. All right, and joining us in our graphic design studio guest segment this week, we got our presenting sponsor of the podcast and the driver of the 24 Pure Stock over at Flamborough Speedway. We got Hailey Hill joining us. Hailey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Welcome to the show. How you like it?
I'm blessed to be here.
You get to see all the things on this shiny side of the podcast.
Yeah, right. It's very different.
It doesn't look as magical as it does when I get it up on screen. I'll say that much.
No, you do a great job, so it's okay.
Hailey, it's how's your off season going? Let's start early here. How's your off season going?
I have 3 kids, and like we literally finish off season. Like we finish racing, like we wrap everything up with Peterborough, and then we go into enduro season because we decide to be nuts and do that too. And then it's like, okay, I have time to breathe. And then it's like, boom, Christmas is here. So like, honestly, being like shopping for Christmas and then you're just like in the unwind, it really doesn't feel like we stopped that long ago. But then you look at the calendar and you're like, wow, it's been a while. So, I mean, it goes by quick for me. I mean, I go to work every day and it's like a constant go there. And then you get home and you got kids and it's go here. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's April again. So.
Yeah.
There's that enduro in February if you're looking to kill some time.
I know. Me and Rodney have been like humming and hawing about it. I kind of hurt myself in the last enduro at Humberstone a little bit. And I was like, maybe I should sit this one out. But I'm sure by February I'm going to be bored and probably will hop in. But we do have at least 2 cars going. So we'll see if there will be 3.
I am secretly working on trying to get me and John a ride in that enduro.
Excuse me?
Oh, yeah. I asked Will to see if he
They're
can
a
find
lot
some
of fun.
cars.
You should do it.
You know what? I've talked about it. Jacqueline and I've talked. Actually, we were at the Humberstone one.
Mhm.
Um, we were watching. Jacqueline looked over at me. She goes, "This looks like a lot of fun. I want to do it." And I'm like, "Oh boy, I've created a monster."
Yeah, so that's where it started with me. So I like want to recommend being like, yeah, do it, but then it all goes downhill after that. Like you got the bug and then it's like, what's next? What's next? So if you want to lose all of your money, then definitely try and get her into one. But if you want to save some money, maybe just be like, you know what, we'll just sit in the stands.
I mean, Buxton Speedway is really nice. So,
I
but
I mean, if you drive, then I have an excuse to go do photography in the middle of the winter.
There you go.
Just saying.
excuses. You don't need excuses to go anywhere, Brandon.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It sounds like you have some excuses as to why you can't run though, and maybe we should just make it easier for you.
He has, been in a car and he denies crying about it. So
I did not cry. There's no proof of it.
I
There's no
have
proof, so it didn't happen.
I have pictures from his wife of him wiping away from his eyes, lifting his sunglasses up. He says stuff was in his eyes, but he was in the van driving.
Yeah, a piece of dust,
Emotional sport.
So,
Oh boy. But let's dive in here. Hailey, your brother is Cam Thompson. You have that Thompson name. Uh, so you've been around racing for quite a while, I'm going to assume.
My entire life.
That's what I figured, but I always just want to double check. What is your earliest memory of actually going to the racetrack?
I actually can remember, like, I was really young. Me and my dad would go to the racetrack and there was no him leaving the house without me. I was just like, see ya, it's Saturday. Like, I used to get made fun of in like elementary school because people would be like, I'm having a birthday party. Like, are you going to come? And I'm like, when is it? They're like, Saturday. I'm like, no, sorry, I'm busy. And I remember being super young, like probably like 5, 6, 7, like super, super young. And it just became something that we did every single summer. Like it becomes your life, right? Like it's just your life. It's not, something you do for fun. Like it is, but it's just, you're like, Saturday, I know where I'm at. I know what I'm doing. And yeah, like my dad would honestly be like, are you ready to go? And I'm like, I've been ready for hours. And we'd go and he'd walk in and he would go and do his thing. And I got to the age where I would just go and hang out with my friends. Thought I was the coolest kid ever in the pits at Flamborough Speedway and every other racetrack. Mind you, I was definitely not the coolest kid ever, but I felt it at the time. And honestly, the memories are just like endless. I mean, it started with my dad, and then now I have my own memories at the racetrack. Cameron got into racing, and at that point, my dad was long out of racing himself, and it just it just evolved so quickly for us as growing up too. Like we have so many childhood memories, and then we grew up and Cameron gets into it, and like now my oldest son's into it, now I'm into it, and it's just, it went from like this tiny little snowball to like a massive boulder of snow really quick.
I hear that's what happens though.
Yeah.
I can't testify against this. I started with a $1,500 car and had like 7 at one point. They're shiny. You got to collect them all. They're just like
Yeah, and at
Pokemon.
one point in time, that was super easy to do. You could just collect all the junkers and make something out of them. But I mean, the world's turning not in a great direction, so it's not as easy. But somehow, some way, the people that want to get out there and want to get those junkers out there find a way to do it. So,
You got that right. You're talking about, this small snowball that turned into an absolute avalanche for you guys, with Cam racing, and then now you're racing. Your oldest son's racing. Before we'll jump to Hunter here in a little bit, but I want to get into you because I know we've already talked to Cam. We know Cam's story. He's done a hell of a job. One of the best up and coming wheelmen I've personally seen in a while. He can just do pretty much anything he wants to do with a damn car. And you know what? It's been so much fun hanging out with y'all at nationals as well, because
We
it's
love having you at nationals. You like that camera thing on us. It's just so much different. It's just not a regular night. We're like, okay, we got to do things differently.
but Cam finds a way to make it so like the video so much interesting because there ends up being so much that goes on in a night. It's fantastic. But like I said, we want to get to you here. Being around racing your entire life and then now jumping into cars yourself, what was the thought process? Did someone just say, okay, here's a fire suit, here's a helmet, you're going racing? Like what happened here?
Pretty much. So I actually had a mini stock back in like 2012, and I only had it out to practice. And then I actually ended up getting pregnant with my son shortly after. And I was like, okay, not the time. Car's gone. See you later. And then my life started to evolve and I had more kids and I was like, okay, well, getting into a race car when you have kids is just not the easiest thing to do.
Yep.
And then honestly, I kept saying for the last couple of years that I wanted to get into enduros and just try it. And then Rodney actually pushed me last fall to just do the Eva Destruction Humberstone Enduro. And I was like, no way. And then I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I'll do it. And then it was like humming and hawing. And he's like, you know what? We'll just take the car. And then if you want to get in, go ahead. If you don't, no problem. I'm like, okay. And then we're like all the way there. I'm like, no way. Can't do it. Absolutely not. He's like, no, you're doing it. I'm like, oh, good. Fantastic. So we got there and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, no, thank you. He's like, no, we're here. Gas is in the car. A car's been through tech. Like, you're doing it. I literally had to borrow a helmet from somebody. I had nothing. Like, it was crazy. And I remember going out there and being like, this is insane. This is insanity. Like, the definition of insanity was hopping in that for my first ever thing to do. Like, those Humberstone Enduros are like a different level. And I was like, oh my God. And then I got out and I was like, well, that was kind of fun. Like, I just went out and puttered around. Like, I didn't go and do anything great, but I was going out and I puttered around and I was like, okay, like that was fun. Maybe I'll do some more enduros. And then it was actually my birthday of this year, May 25th. So Rodney and I had found a really good deal on a pure stock and we only bought it literally to just have it. There was no plans of like actually racing it. Like, we bought it. It was a really good deal. It like fell in our laps. And he was like, maybe on the weekends like that, I don't race the hobby car. I'll hop in it. Or like, maybe we can get Hunter out there and test him in it. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll take it out and test it a couple times too. He's like, yeah, absolutely. And then the morning of my birthday, it happened to be a Saturday. We happened to be racing at Flamborough. The car was ready. We were like, we'll take the car and someone's going to drive it. We don't know who. And he actually bought me a helmet for my birthday. And I came downstairs the morning of my birthday. He's like, here's your helmet. We're going racing. I'm like, no. Like, no, I don't think so. But thanks for my own helmet. Like, it'll come in handy one of these days. And then all morning I was like, well, we'll get to the track and we'll see. And then we went and loaded up the car and I had my middle son with me. He's 6. And I was like, Easton, like, should I race this or should Rodney? He's like, you should, Mom. And I'm like, oh no, like now I've done it. Like now the kid wants me to do it. Like now I have to hold myself to it. And we got to the track and I tried to chicken out so many times that day. And Rodney's like, just go out, see if you like it. And if you don't, like, pull off. It is what it is. Like, at least you can say you did it. Yeah. And I went out and just completely created a monster. We were going to share this car. And we went from sharing this car to me being like, not a chance. This is mine now. Thank you. And we also were gonna, like, we just had so many plans. Like, he was like, I'll race at the weekends that I'm not racing the hobby car. And then you can race it every other weekend. And then I got in and I got a taste. And the opportunities got really small for Rodney to go in and race it because he was like, okay, you're having fun. I got the race cars. Like, it is what it is. And I just kind of took off with it. Honestly, I was like, it's my turn now. It's fine.
I love that. That is such a good story.
It was very like honestly, I had to explain it to somebody because they were like, how did this happen? Like, you've been around racing your entire life. Like, how did this happen? And I was like, I just kind of hopped in it and it just kind of happened. And then the next thing I knew, summer was over. That's basically the best way I can sum that up.
The first year is always the quickest year when you get into racing because it's like you wait so long to get that first start, especially after you buy the car and you have all the nerves. And all of a sudden, the season's over. It's like, oh,
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Like Oktoberfest, I was like, this is it, really? Like, where did summer go?
I mean, you guys have been spending the weekends, Friday night at Oswego, Saturday nights at Flamborough,
and Sundays at the Derby half the time.
Sundays at the Derby.
Yeah.
You think it would have felt longer, eh?
Honestly, so like we actually do Thursday nights at Oswego too for my son.
Right.
We have Thursday nights for Hunter. We have Friday nights for Cameron, and then we have Saturday nights for all of us every other weekend, like all of us. And then Sundays are like Derby or like if there's an invitational somewhere, like it's just go, go, go. And we have so much fun. But honestly, by like the end of August, early September, I'm like, oh, are we done yet? And then I get in the car and I have so much fun. Like I definitely don't complain about it, but it catches up to you. That I can say.
And then by Halloween, be like, why can't we still race? It's still sunny out.
Right. And then there's like those rainy days where you're like, okay, this sucks. We get rained out. And then October comes and you have no rain. Every Saturday's beautiful. You're like, okay, cool.
That's where you need to set up to go go-karting.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
actually, I think between Feeney and I think we're going to work on another go-karting event.
Yeah.
That would be
I
fun.
said the first date I was telling you is booked by the other group I was telling you about.
Yep.
So I still thinking about the other idea that I presented to you down Flamborough way.
Yep.
Because it's reasonably affordable just after Christmas, I think.
Is anything affordable right after Christmas?
It's
No.
gonna be like $25 a person.
Okay, that's not bad.
That's
not
reasonable
terrible.
for like a 90-minute event.
That's not terrible at all.
No, so it's
We'll figure it out.
we just gotta like find out if there's actually interest in it or not.
Yeah, I know I've been slacking on that.
I have people in my house alone that I'm sure would be interested. So you just
It's not karting.
It's not karting though.
oh, okay.
Well, we're gonna put it out. We have an announcement. Well, tomorrow for us, but not tomorrow for for anyone listening right now. As we continue on here, you know, your son Hunter, he's gotten involved as well. Same deal. He's been around racing his entire life, so naturally, he's what 8, 9 years old, I think.
He is 11.
Okay, sorry, 11. Okay, so same age as my son. How did that conversation come up about him wanting to get behind the wheel of a race car?
So he had been begging us for a go-kart for years. It probably started around the time he was 7. And there were so many times like his dad and I were going to bite the bullet and just buy one. And then it like our parenting kind of got in the way because I was like, you're not getting in a go-kart until you learn how to listen. Like you need to use ears, like, and that's something that my dad always told me too. He was like, you need to listen. Like if you're not going to listen at the racetrack, on the racetrack, like you got nothing. You're going to get hurt. You're going to hurt other people. Like we need to master our listening. Right. So he just kind of found his maturity level over time. And we finally decided over last winter that we were just going to do it. We, again, had a really good deal kind of fall in our laps. And like, same thing. We got him all of his stuff. I actually ended up buying him his helmet and his fire suit for Christmas last year. And at that point, we kind of knew we were devoted. And he hopped in it and did the same as the rest of us, just kind of took off. And now we're, in a pickle.
Did you take them like to like consumer karting, like K1 or anything like that, kind of see if they like doing it before you spent the money?
No, because my oldest son actually, since he was little, he's always just wanted to drive something. Like if there was a quad around or if there was an anything around at a friend's property or whatever, or he'd be like, can I drive up the driveway on your lap? Like he always just was asking to drive. Like ever since he could talk, he was like, I want to drive. I want to drive. And we were going to take him to a couple of those events, like let's go and try this. And he just knew, like, he actually ended up doing tournaments on iRacing before we got the cart. Him and Cameron would be in my basement having like wars on faster laps. And I'm telling you, that little boy can kick his uncle's behind on iRacing. So he's like, that's it. When I retire, it's all going to him. I'm like,
That's awesome. And that's tough on your wallet, Buck. Obviously, knowing that he's loves racing, and that just means he's gonna move up here eventually.
yeah, it is, but I find it so rewarding at the same time because I mean, like the generation growing up now is not the generation we grew up with, Yep. And I'm just like, if my son wants to be at the racetrack, if my kids want to be at the racetrack, no problem, because I know for a fact they have no money for drugs, no money to get in trouble because it's all been spent at the racetrack. So realistically, to me, it's a win. I mean, yeah, it hurts the pockets at first, but I know how we grew up and like I know how other people have grown up, and you're just like the differences. I'm like, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing not only yourself but Hunter's progression here. It sucks. I wanted to get out this year, and I was trying to make plans as much as I could to try and get out there and shoot a day at the races with you guys on a Thursday. Just timing didn't work out.
Timing is not friendly.
No.
And honestly, like trying to get up and go to work on a Friday after you've been at the racetrack Thursday night is tough, and we live close, so
yeah,
no hard feelings. I totally.
I gotta make a plan this year to come out for a night. I want to see what those what the micro sprints are all about. I think they're such a cool concept. It's such a great learning tool for them to move up the ladder, which is awesome. That's what we want. We want that introductory for these kids to start climbing so that they're not 13, 14, 15 years old just hopping in a mini stock and going, okay, here you are on the big track.
Honestly, so I used to actually work at Ohsweken Speedway. Like I worked during the summertime, and we did all the track prep and stuff. And I've watched so many people come out of micro sprints, hop into crate sprints, and just the talent is unbelievable. And watching these little kids on Thursdays, all of a sudden, the next year they hit a growth spurt over winter and they're like taller than me and hopping in a sprint car. You're just like, wow, like that's all you can say. You're just like, I watched you be this little tiny boy, hop into a little cart, and then all of a sudden now you're like in these massive, expensive machines that are flying around the racetrack. And honestly, I just remember standing at the fence so many times being like, wow, that's all I had.
That's going to be Hunter in about 3 to 4 years. I hope you know that.
He's just got to borrow Uncle Cam's car.
Exactly.
Don't remind me. He's like, Cameron's like, I'm going to move up to a 360 and I'll save everything for Hunter. I'm like, who's paying for this? I'm just wondering, did we win the lottery?
Well, you said you won't have any money for drugs or alcohol, so
yeah. I don't have any money for
let's move on here though, because one of the things we do want to talk about is because you've been the presenting sponsor of the True North Racing Podcast for the entirety of the 2024 season. I've told this story. I think, to me, it's a funny story of how it really came about. At Motorama, I'll set it back a little bit here. At Motorama this year, we had Cam on doing a live taping of the show, and I had joked saying, "Hey, why don't you be the sponsor for the show? We got opportunities." And you were just like, "We'll talk." I'm like, "Okay." Sure enough, I waited a week because I was like, "No way was she being serious." I'm going to be honest. I thought, no, you weren't being serious. You were just joking because it was all just fun and games. And I hit you up with a message and go, "Hey, wanted to reach out. Let's talk." What was that like on your end? Because to me, I was like, I'm just an idiot just reaching out. I'm going to be honest. Like I said, I thought it was just all fun and games. I was not being serious at all, but I'm glad I did reach out.
I mean, I am always looking for ways to like get my name out there and what I do out there, because obviously what I do also pays for the racing addiction that we've been talking about. And it's so hard to get yourself out there in this sport without spending $1 million, like sponsors and the money. And I don't want to dump $1 million. Like, it's impossible because we have so many race cars. If I was somebody that was just a sponsor, like it would be different, but I have to divide my money in ways that I'm getting myself out there. And you just presented such a perfect opportunity to be able to get my name out there. And you have a different crowd that's watching your stuff. You know what I mean? Like, all of my stuff on my page that I share all the time, like 3/4 of that is going to my clientele on the reserve. So it works great for me, but I needed another way to get out there that was getting me farther. And you were able to assist me with that without breaking the bank. So I appreciate that. And that also is something that I will look forward to doing for a very long time.
Yes.
We're saving more money for the race car.
Like I said, I was just joking when I made that comment during the show. Like, it was just on the whim, just it was worked perfectly. And I'm like, you know what? And that's why I waited a week too, Is it because I was like, no, she was like, in my mind, I was fighting with myself the entire week. I was like, no, she wasn't being serious. She was just, we were just playing off. And
send me a message. I was going to send you a message anyway, so it would have worked out regardless, but I was very much so serious.
Well, you know what? I've been very thankful to have you aboard on our show this year. It's been honestly, one of my favorite things is doing the vehicle spotlight, showcasing these different vehicles. I know I've played around with the format a couple times, and I think I've gotten to a good spot actually where it works pretty good. Yeah. I love doing those little videos because I think it's just such it's a different way to promote the vehicles. And again, it's a different avenue for you because all the work I do on my end is all the same thing you guys have on your website. I just do it a little bit differently.
Yeah, and it catches a different eye too, which is nice. There's some people that will click the link and they get bored, if that makes any sense. Like, they want it right in front of them. Like, it's been really good advertising for me because most of the time I'm sitting at my desk and I'm juggling 18 other things at once. So when you set those spotlights out for me, it's one less thing that I have to do. Like, I always pictured that maybe one day I'll be able to, grab my selfie stick and go around a car and, do my own thing. But I just am like, you know what? You have the perfect voice for it. You have played around with the different formats and it's worked. And I always watch them first. Like, you tag me watching them and I'm like, this is perfect. Couldn't have done it better myself. Share. So it works. It's great.
Well, like I was talking to you, like, I have an idea for next year, and I think it'd be really good about once a month come down and actually shoot a video in and around the vehicle, like obviously on a weekend because it's possibly on a weekend, but we'll work it out. Yeah. But like I said, it's so much fun. And I think the next level would be to get in there and showcase the vehicles and actually go around them. Right. So, we'll figure it out. I think we got a good idea for next year.
Figure it out.
But let's talk about driving with Hailey, because I kind of messed up. I kind of jumped a little bit ahead, but I should have gone back. Driving with Hailey, you actually sold me my van a couple years ago, and I love the thing. It's been fantastic. It's gone on so many freaking road trips, and I got another one planned in 2 weeks. So it's done its job. It's been doing amazing. The only thing I'm missing though is a nice giant driving with Hailey sticker on it, just we got to work on something.
That will come. Don't worry.
Sorry, Feeny.
I might be looking to get a new truck this winter too, so I might have to make a road trip.
Perfect. You let me know.
It's got to be a Ford and it's got to be a 5-liter. I'm telling you now.
Never a problem.
I was gonna say, do you not see what she has in her lot? I'm sure she's got one sitting there.
I seen that one that we featured, I think, like either last episode or the one before. I'm like, it's kind of close to my color, but I'm like, now it's, do I match the trailer or do I match the car?
Well, the good part is Hailey can help you figure that out.
That truck did not last long. There was no time to sleep on that one.
That's awesome. But driving with Hailey, that is your day job. That is your full-time job. How did you get into the world of being a car sales? Like, actually, how about you help tell us what driving with Hailey is? I'm not going to say anything more, but I'll let you explain.
So I actually worked at a Chev store for 5 years in the parts and service department. I actually just started in in the whole auto world. I literally started as the lot girl. I was just like, just need a job, whatever. And I worked my way up. I ended up going into parts and then going into service. And the way I got into sales, I actually left a Chevy store altogether. I took the biggest leap of faith that I have ever taken. Honestly, it was a bigger leap of faith than hopping in the race car. Like, it was a massive leap of faith. I get comfortable in a job, anything in life, I get comfortable in it, and I'm just like, no change. I'm good. It's just who I am, the way I'm wired. And a girl that I know, like, I can't say that we were friends. We're definitely best friends now, but we have known each other. She's known me my whole life. She's a little bit older than me, and she called me. She's like, I got a new job. I am running a used car store and I want you to come work for me. And I'm like, not a chance. No way. No way. Never. And it took her about 2 weeks and she was like knocking on my door, blowing up my phone. She was like not taking no for an answer. And I finally was like, she's like, just trust me. I'm like, okay. And I took the leap of faith and I ended up quitting my very comfortable job and taking that leap. And honestly, it was the best thing that I have ever done. And I just went from just like the way that the used car world works. I mean, new is a little bit different, more so, and like OEM stores are a little bit different because anybody that wants a Chevy is going to walk into a Chevy store. Yep. Anybody that wants a Dodge, like, you always have those brand specific people. And I was struggling at first because I was just like, how do you do this when you have it all? You know what I mean? Like, not everybody wants what you have. And she was so good at training me. However, I mean, on my second day of work, I cried. I was like, this isn't it for me. And I was like, I'm going back. She's like, shut up. You are not going anywhere. And now we're 4 years in. So I definitely wasn't going anywhere. But driving with Hailey evolved because I work for Right Ride. That is the dealership's name. And they're a part of Auto Canada. And I was dealing with so many of my own people. So the way that these dealerships work is it's like a lead process. So, you know, when you're like scrolling through a website and that thing pops up in front of you and you click it and you put all your personal information in and it's like, this is what I'm looking for. Well, those go to us sitting at the computers and we have all that stuff and it's our job to reach out to you and then sell you a car. So I started that way. And then thankfully, like, just with the way I was advertising, everything took off. And my main clientele became like Six Nations, the Reserve. And I ended up stopping taking leads in total because I was so busy with all my referrals and all my word of mouth that I wanted to get a way to have these people coming directly to me because they were clicking on like Right Ride's website, or they were, you know, walking into Right Ride. And there's some people that were not like, hey, is Hailey here or whatever. They would just click a link and end up on Right Ride's page. And then it would go to anybody, like anybody that was taking leads. Right. So I was actually losing the people that were meant for me. And like the deal would get done and they'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, I was sent by so-and-so for Hailey. So I was like, I need to come up with something in some way for these people to know who they're contacting and that it's coming right to me. It's not getting mixed up. So I just kind of thought about it and came up with Driving with Hailey, and I launched it hoping that it would work. And it's been great. There's so many people that just message me directly on my business page for vehicles. Like, that's my main source of getting people and getting those leads. Like, it's the same lead. It's just direct word of mouth. Yeah. So that's, and we like, yeah, it's been great. Honestly, I didn't expect it to take off the way that it did, but it's all in the advertising. It's all in the word of mouth. Like, you need those people to be like, this person helped me, because that's the way that it works. It's no different than your media. You know what I mean? Like, you need those people to be talking. You need those people to talk and say, you know, this person's great. They'll help you, yada, yada. And it ends up working out in the long run. And it worked out for me.
I was one of those people that reached out to you on Driving with Hailey. And that's because Cam was one of my drivers. So I was like, well, he knows someone who's a dealer. I'm like, I'm looking for a new vehicle. Why not why not use someone that sponsors him? And knowing that you guys are siblings helped a little bit more than others, but you know what? Like I said, I'm very thankful. The process was absolutely amazing, and it was nice to be able to reach out to you and actually just talk to you instead of. And I'm gonna be honest, I hate talking to because I know it's robots on the other end. I'm like, I hate doing the websites. I'm like, to me it'd be taking so much longer to find a vehicle. Like I said, I found you were sponsoring Cam, found it, boom, message you, and the process was so easy, and I didn't even have to come to the store.
I appreciate that.
And the vehicle came straight to my work.
It did. So, I mean, and like, that's the way that the world is turning too, right? Like everything is on the computer, everything is online. And I find that if you don't know the person you're talking to, like that's how so many scams have been happening.
Yep.
And that's how all this like cybersecurity stuff has come out, right? So when people are messaging me directly, like they know it's coming to me. It's not just going to some random person at a dealership that may or may not get back to you. Like it is going directly to me. It goes directly to my phone. Like I am on my phone 24/7. And it's just worked out. And there's so many people that do find a peace of mind in it. And I find peace of mind in it too, because I'm just like, I get to know my people better, if that makes sense. You kind of get a little more personal. And, I've helped so many people. Like there's so many people where I sell credit versus a car. And like when I was younger, I knew nothing about credit. And I've helped so many people like be in a not great credit situation and work their way up, and they've listened and they've taken my advice and they've been able to flourish, and it's a really, really good feeling.
That's what I need. I still have no clue how it works. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's crazy. I don't know. But like I said, like if you guys if anyone who's listening, we hope you guys enjoyed. What was it this week? It was a GM. Was it Suburban again? What did you?
One that you sent you?
Yeah.
I think it was a Wagoneer.
Jeep Wagoneer.
I haven't done the video yet, but I know it's pretty close to my messages here. Yeah, Wagoneer, Jeep Wagoneer.
Those things are beast.
They're really pretty.
It looks nice.
They're really pretty. It's hard being a car salesperson and having an interest in cars. I want to buy everything. And I'm like, I got to cut it out, because for the first like 2 years that I was selling cars, I was trading my cars in all the time.
Oh, geez.
All the time. It was terrible. And then it got to the point where I drove everything and I was like, okay, you need to knock it off now.
Ooh, shiny. Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You had your fun. Now it's time to.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. So
my pocket's set up wise, but yeah, nothing wrong with that at all.
But you got it out of the way early, so like you kind of, as you set your security in the job, and it's like, all right, you had your fun. It's more focused now, and now if there's something really shiny comes in, it's yours.
Exactly. My theory was, if I've driven everything, I know how to sell it.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. It's like, you know what you're talking about with that vehicle then.
Exactly.
We're going to move on here because I do want to get through our tailored to you meeting design fan question period. As you saw earlier today, you were joining us for tonight's program, and we got some questions. Are you ready to answer them?
Yeah.
All right. First one up is from Nicole Givens. What does a driver need to have or do for you to sponsor them? Is it wins, sportsmanship? What is it?
I got my own race car, so I don't sponsor many people anymore, because I'm like a one-man band in the pockets of my race car department. But I honestly, like when I was sponsoring cars, I didn't look for anything specific. Honestly, like I said, I don't have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to give out. So I kind of tried to pick people that obviously had a good head on their shoulder and could represent my name in a proper way. But I also tried to look for people that were smaller teams that, $500 or $1,000 could actually really, really help them. And I think that was more so like my idea of how I wanted to do that, like just helping Cameron, because Cameron's a smaller team. And like that $500 goes a long way when you're a smaller team and you have somebody random walk up to you and be like, here's $500. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Like, it was never about the wins for me. It was always just like the way you present yourself. Like, I definitely don't want you walking around punching people out or anything, but I mean, if given a reason, I guess it's okay. But you know what I mean? Like, I always just wanted to be able to help somebody that needed the help, because not everybody needs the help. There are some people that pick up really big sponsors and they're set. And I didn't, I just, those little people really need to be seen.
I completely agree with that. Um, their next question is again from Nicole Gibbons. She goes, "What are your goals for the 2025 race season?"
Goals.
Victory
Well,
lane, victory lane.
yeah, I wouldn't mind getting to victory lane. Obviously, I was able to lead a couple laps comfortably in the 2024 season. So obviously that's on the list. Mind you, I'm just out there having fun. Like, I'm almost 30 years old. I am not going to NASCAR, and I know that. So I try to keep it on a very fun level for myself. I give myself personal goals. I don't go out there and, try to wreck anybody, not on purpose. But I give myself personal goals, honestly. And one of my biggest things is just I want to get more competitive in my own way. No, and like nothing against anybody else. I obviously want to get that win, but just like being more comfortable, having my own little things going on would be great. I maybe travel a couple times if given the opportunity. I would love to try Sunset at some point, not to go out there and win any races, but to at least say I've been on the track and tried it. But I don't have anything too big. I just want to keep it fun. I definitely wrecked the car last. We went through a lot of spindles and a lot of tires last year. I want to try and keep that down.
So the next question we have for you is from a certain driver that you may know really well. Would be Mr. Cam Thompson, and he asks, "Who is your favorite driver?"
I feel like he should be banned from these kinds of questions. I know exactly what he wants from me, and I'm gonna have to actually give him what he wants, because we have a household with 4 people that race in it. My son, Rodney, him, and like Tegan and myself. So like it can get pretty feisty in here sometimes. But he is my favorite driver. He's more of a son to me than a brother. It's just, I love watching him be able to just hop in anything and go. He's so good at it. And I hope that maybe one day I can be as good as him in that sense. Like, he literally, someone will be like, "Hey, you want to take it out?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then he's hooked, and he was so good at it. And like, just watching him every single Friday, like I am in there like a dirty shirt with his sprint car operation. He has built that from the ground up, and watching him just go from being like, "I just want to try it," to being so good at it. He is honestly my favorite driver, and that's probably gonna boost his head. I'm gonna have to pop out a little bit, but he is just, and he's so humble and he's so calm. Like, I'm a little more of a firecracker, so when he gets mad, he just kind of walks away and shrugs it off, and he just takes a breath. And where I'm like beacon off, it's just who I am. We are bipolar opposites for that. So I would have to say that he is my favorite driver. Mind you, if I don't say that my boyfriend's on that list, I might end up leaving this chat on with a little bit of a fight, but he's on the list too.
And then we have Donna Woodward Stewart ask, "Who is your favorite person to race with?"
I would say my favorite person to race with is honestly probably Spencer Riddell. He is just so respectful in the pits. He's so respectful on the track. I remember, it was like maybe my 3rd or 4th time on the track. And my biggest thing when I first got out there was like, I just want to stay out of the way. And I kept saying that, and Cameron's like, no, let them go around you. Like, that's their job. And I was like, okay. And I remember saying that to Spencer, and he's like, I pay attention. I know that you're new, and I come up to you with ease knowing that you're new. And it's so nice to know that there's drivers that don't just get in the car, strap in, put their helmets on, and completely forget their brains. Because we all know that there are people that are like that, unfortunately. And he's just like, he's so gentle. He never gives you the bumper on purpose. Like, he doesn't do it joking around either. Like, obviously he's got a really good sense of humor, but he's just so gentle and like so forgiving. And I mean, that might be something that he doesn't love, but I think it's great for those new people, because it is a learning division. It is a division that people just hop in and hope for the best, and it can cause complete havoc sometimes. But he is just so aware of his surroundings. And like, you might feel bad, but he's just like, no sweat. Don't worry about it. And that's something that I really, really enjoy about him.
Yeah, I think that's a new nickname for Spence there. We got Gentle Spence.
That's a sense. Yeah.
He definitely is one of the good ones at Flamborough Speedway when it comes to helping, and he sets a good example, which is what I really like to see.
And he will come up to you too and like give you those pointers like, hey, try this. Or he'll come up to you and be like, when you're more comfortable, like he walked up to me one day this summer. I don't know how long I had been in the car, but he was like, when you're more comfortable, like you're going to be good. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. I just was like, nobody has to say those things to anybody. And he just finds no shame in giving people all the tips, whether they be good or bad.
But that's what you want for a division to succeed as well. You want your competitors to it still is a competition.
Yes.
But you're not racing for thousands of dollars. You're racing for like $60
right
on a weekly basis. Y'all got to go to work Monday morning. This is a fun division. That's why it's like Full Throttle had it as fun stock, because that's what it is. You're supposed to have fun, and Spencer definitely keeps that as like his motto. Like, just keep it fun.
Yeah, he's super humble and calm in that sense too, which is nice, because there's definitely been some instances where like I watched some things happen on the track last year, or this year, and I was like, why aren't you mad? Like, what is wrong with you? He's like, it's not even worth it. And I'm like, wow, you really are something, because I would have been like, what is going on? And he's just like, it's okay.
I think he's got like a bonsai tree in his car that he's like trimming as he's racing or something.
Wouldn't surprise me.
He is like Flamborough's Jean Girard, just so composed. He is like, you know what I mean? Like,
drinking a macchiato racing.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, he's so composed, he's calm, he's smooth. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, I got to drive with him like in his first year when he was driving that Integra at Peterborough, and like the courtesy you get out of that kid, especially with a lot of people, unfortunately watch NASCAR too much and get too aggressive.
Great.
And it's just like, he lets you in, and he started following me around Peterborough and stuff like that. I'm like, why aren't you passing me? You're way faster. He goes, I didn't know where I was going.
Like, he has this saying on the back of his car that says, look past your eyes. And it is the most accurate thing. Like, if you're just a spectator and you're reading that, you're like, what? And then when you get into a car, you're like, yeah, look past your eyes. Like, you're like, you need to look like past your eyes, past the people in front of you's eyes, and then past their eyes too. Like, and that's the most accurate thing. And he does that. Like, he definitely looks past his eyes, because he is making sure he's aware. And he's just like, I'm not going to create a bigger mess by being impatient. And he is very, very patient and kind.
All right, we got one more question here from William_Trillium. And it is, what was your favorite moment from the 2024 season?
I would say probably I had a night where, I obviously started up front because they do the inverts at Flamborough. And I started up front and I was able to lead a couple laps, and then I ended up finishing third. And that was like my first time ever going through tech. I had never had to do that before. Like, I was just like, I'm just here to have a good time, right? I don't need to go through tech ever. Like, I'm just putting around at the back. And I had to go through tech, and my entire family met me there, and everybody was like hooting and hollering, and they were all excited, and I'm all excited. And they were just like, their hype up helped my hype up. Like, I was more so in like a state of shock at that point, but everybody just being so proud of you when you're like, I'm so new to this. Like, you don't even know what to think at sometimes. Like, you're just like, I don't know, like, I'm new to this, like, and having everybody like hop up to your car and be so excited, and, people walking up to you after and being like, wow, that was amazing. And like, those things, like, they help you grow. Honestly, they do. Because if you don't ever get recognized, how are you supposed to grow? Right. And
Absolutely.
that was probably something that I will take with me until I can do it again in a higher position than third.
Well, hopefully we see you in victory lane in 2025. That'd be so cool to see. But that is going to wrap it up for our Taylor to You fan question period. Of course, we got to thank every single one of you guys who submitted questions. It's always one of my favorite segments because you never know what is going to come, what people are going to throw out as a question. It's awesome. But we got to thank Hailey for taking the time to answer those questions, and make sure you guys tune in February when you hear about who will be our first guest of 2025. So, but thank you, Hailey, for answering those questions for us.
Thank you.
As we move back in here to the closing segments of our guest segment, I would like I wouldn't like you. I would like you to I'm going to open the floor here. You're going to be able to thank all your friends, your family, anyone who's helped you along the way. It's your opportunity, your chance to maybe add a little safety to Rodney to boost him up as well, by saying he's a better driver than Cam. But the floor is yours for the next few minutes here.
They both are really good drivers, so I can't say that Ronnie's not a bad driver. They are both extremely good drivers. That was not the question. The question was driver. I really need to thank, obviously, Rodney. He was the one that pushed me into getting into racing, and Cameron. Those two, honestly, they will just come up to me and they say something and I just listen. Like, they have done it all. Both of them have done it all. So when they come up and they're telling me something, I'm like, okay, those are the people you listen to. And I try to listen the best that I can to them. I need to definitely thank them for all their tips and their patience. And those two are the two main people that do wrench on my car. Obviously, I have a very full-time job and kids. And when I'm wrecking stuff, Rodney is fixing it with Cameron's help. Or, if Rodney's in the car and like something quickly needs done in my car, like Cameron's helping me do it. Like, I am definitely no mechanic. So I'm still kind of new on like touching the car myself, right? So I definitely need to thank them for all of their efforts. I need to thank my family. My sister and my mom hold the fort down with my kids so I can have a little bit of fun. My two oldest boys, they're always there cheering me on, but my daughter is only just 2 years old. So trying to hop into a race car with an almost 2-year-old at the time, she turned 2 in August, my sister came in and was like, you go do your thing, have some fun. It's your turn now. Like, I got her. And knowing that you have that support system behind you really helps, because you can't do much without support and a support system. So I definitely have to thank them. I should probably thank my boss, because if she didn't hire me 4 years ago, she definitely, I definitely wouldn't have Driving with Hailey, and I wouldn't be able to be where I am today. And I don't have too many sponsors on the car. I'm more so one of those, like, you know what, I'll slap a sticker on for you just to give you some attention, because I know how it feels to get some eyes on your business, right? So I try not to really ask for anything like for a sponsorship. I'm more so like, give me a sticker, I'll show off your name. So I do have a Blue Streak contracting sticker on my car. So I have to thank Matt. He also opens his shop to us anytime if we have a little more of like a repair job to do. He's like, here's my shop, like come and use my stuff. He's really good that way. And his trailer is always full of everything that we need. He is never forgetting anything. So if we need it, he has it, and it's wonderful. I have to thank Lisa Barton. She is an amazing part of the racing community. That woman will do anything for anybody on a good day, but when it comes down to keeping the racing alive, she would do anything. And she deserves a massive pat on the back for what she's done in the racing community all the way around, but especially the CVM club. And she's become a really good friend of mine, and she will be like, hey, you need something, take it off my car. And we also did get to race a couple times together, and we have some stories, because I was not gentle with her by accident. I actually completely hopped her rear of her car, or sorry, the front of the car. I don't know how I did it. She was just down in the grass, and I was like watching all over the place, and I hopped her car, got air, and came back down. She was like, oh my God. And we were just laughing, and it was definitely not something to laugh about. I'm happy I hopped her and nobody else, because they would have been like, what are you doing? Get off the racetrack. But it's a story anyways. And I don't know if I have anyone else to thank. Honestly, those are the main people in my life that definitely deserve a pat on the back to be able to have me out there doing something that I never thought I'd get the opportunity to do.
It's great when you got people in your corner who back you, who support you. and want to see you do good things. And you definitely have that in Rodney, Cam, Matt, your entire family, like Lisa. That everyone makes a huge impact, and that right that you talking about them right there is why one of the reasons why I love the motorsports community, because it doesn't matter if you're related or not, people will come and support you, to help you, and we see that so much, and I love seeing it.
Family is a family that like you cannot find that bond stronger anywhere else. Like we park with the same people every single week, like, and that goes for Friday nights out of Schwingen for Cameron, and then Saturday nights for us, and like it just becomes family. Like those are not friends anymore. Those are family. Like, if you need them, they're there. Like there's been so many times where Rodney's friends have come up and helped me. Like if I've pulled off and he's on the track, or he's, in lineup, or we're, both doing enduros and we're both on the track and then I pull off. Like there's so many times where people just drop what they're doing to help you. And that's something that you don't really see very often anymore.
No, you don't. And it's great when we do see it, because it makes it that much better, and it shows the positivity that racing really does have amongst people.
Agreed.
I feel like we can continue talking for like another 3 hours. So I'm gonna say this on air: we gotta bring you back, and I think next time we'll have to bring Lisa on as well, so we can talk about these stories as well. If you're interested, we obviously you can say no, I'm not interested. This is a one and done deal.
I'm 100% interested. It's hilarious. She's just such a bubbly person.
Oh yeah.
And I was so embarrassed that night, and we just just became a joke. Like she's like, "Oh my God, you gave me my first racing stripe on my car," because we've gotten into each other more than once. And it's like I was picking on her, but she's actually like a very good friend to me. I was not picking on her at all. So that would definitely be a story for another day.
We'll have to work on something for 2025, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your off season. Hopefully I have something for you. But give me a second. Cuz it's supposed to be going in the mail, but thanks to Canada Post, it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, they need to get back to work.
Is that it? That's it. Oh. Got way too many things. Got way too many things that need to go out. But I want to show you this, just as a little thank you. I'll put it in a new bag when I bring it to you. But it is a little plaque for saying thank you for your support in this year.
I love it.
Just a little one. It's not a big one or nothing like that. But when I do, I'll put in a new bag for you.
By the time they get back to work, we'll be at the racetrack by then.
Probably. You know what? I'm making a trip down Hamilton Way in a couple weeks. So maybe I'll message you and see if you're around, and I'll drop it off to you or something.
Sounds good. I have a perfect spot for that on my wall at work with the rest of them. So you get the wall of fame.
Yes, that's awesome to hear. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us for our Christmas special. Like I said, enjoy your off season. Hopefully we'll see you before we all head back to the racetrack. Well, I guess we got Motorama in March, but hopefully I see you before then. And but yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Thanks for having me. That was fun.
We'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay.
And we're back from our conversation with Hailey. Again, I know when we're recording this, it's a week later, but we had such a great time chatting with Hailey that night.
Yeah, honestly, like we probably could have gone for like 17 hours talking with Hailey.
Yeah.
Whether it be past racing experience or racing in the family or selling cars, just like the amount of experience and like
the knowledge
and life lessons she has that she can
yeah.
offer, right? So it's just one of those things. Like I could still pull out most of that conversation we had, and the reason why Josh or Jomo there brought up that's a week later because wearing a different shirt gives it away.
No, we had such a great time chatting with her. You're right. Between the life stories, the life lessons, and it's kind of funny how Rodney pushed her off a cliff and was like, "Nah, you're doing this." To the point where he even went out and bought her a new helmet. just goes to show also the faith he had in her to go out and compete.
Sometimes people need that push too, because they wouldn't normally do it without, that push.
Yep.
Like Cam K probably wouldn't have gotten the booth unless I told him he had to do it, right? And it's been his lifelong dream to do it, right? You wouldn't
Yep.
have jumped in that race car a couple years ago unless you got the push. Sometimes people just need a giant kick in the back and get told, no, let's come back until you do.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for it, man, because I got to do something I never thought I would ever get to do, and man, I did it. I could say I drove a race car.
And now you got the gear case. Someone goes, I need a driver. I'm like, I'm up. Let's go.
Unless they're like Kate size, because I'm not fitting that car.
I fit in that car.
Yeah, I'm wider than you though.
Think skinny thoughts.
Oh yeah, okay. Someone better get the butter ready on the back end of it then.
We'll get the barbecue sauce if anything happens.
The barbecue sauce, he says. We're not going to keep up too much more time in our Christmas episode. But Feeney, is there anything you would like to say to everyone before we sign off for the holidays?
I want to thank everyone, for noticing and not making fun of how ugly I am compared to Megan. Also, kind of want to wish everyone a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and if you are having issues with builds, feel free out to talk to other drivers, myself, or experienced drivers at your track. They'll most likely help you out, and also at the same time, remember we have that junior late model giveaway for the next episode that we're coming on for.
Yeah, that's right, guys. For anyone who's listening and runs a junior late model in Ontario, I guess anywhere, I don't know wherever they run a junior late model, we do have a giveaway going on, courtesy of our co-host Brandon Feeney. Two lucky drivers, one male, one female, will have the opportunity to win a beefy media package, and that entails some write-ups, some photo opportunities, featured on joemedia.ca. Just quite a bit of a lot of goodies essentially will be given out for those ones. So I'm excited all you have to do, I gotta remember, Feeney, do you remember what you have to do?
So I basically asked for a small video or written letter if the kid's shy, because kids are shy sometimes, no one be in front of the camera and stuff like that. So I get that. So either the video or written letter of what racing means to them and kind of like a why they got into racing. And we're just basically going to pick the stories that make Megan cry the most, because that's how we did it last year. So Savannah Strom last year won, and Robbie Miltimore, and it was so good to see those stories, and it kind of, reminds you what racing is all about again, because like you fight through those times. Is like we get to the point where it's an addiction, racing all the time. It's like we have to be out there, and then you get these kids that are just going out there for the fun of it, to be with their friends, to try something new, and it's a good thing.
Oh yeah. And you know what? Junior late models are a great stepping stone for the kids to get behind the wheel of these race cars and to have a shot to live out their dreams of competing at Daytona, at their local short track, even over at Peterborough Speedway, Sunset, Sauble, wherever they want to run. If they got a chance to go compete. And again, those cars are so cool.
Yeah, it just reminds me of mini Days of Thunder.
Doesn't it?
Especially at Peterborough, because you got like the mellow yellow car and like So it's a pretty cool class. They get some experience, and with us trying to help out on this side, to give them some promotional coverage and help them get stepped on the right way.
Exactly, and we love working with all drivers. Doesn't matter if you run dirt, asphalt, if you're a road racer, if you're a drag racer, whatever. We are here to help promote you, your sport, your race team. That's what we're here for. So if anyone, we're going to continue, we're going to backtrack here. This is a little bit. If you're interested in the Junior Late Model giveaway, you guys must submit the video or written to Brandon Feeney, myself, or Megan Mitchell. Or you can email it to us at jomopromos@gmail.com. That's JOMO promos@gmail.com. Final date for the entries to get in is January 31st, 2025, to give Brandon, Megan, myself, and a couple weeks to go over it, make sure we make good guesses of it all depends on how many entries we get as well. Get them in so that way we can start looking through it. We can and then the winner will be announced on the first episode of the 2025 season, which is scheduled for February 11th, 2025. So you got a couple months, a little over a month here to get your entries in, but don't wait, get them in. Love to love to have a chance to be able to work with you guys and promote the next generation of stars.
And it gives us enough time so if anyone gets a junior late medal underneath the Christmas tree from Santa Claus,
Yep,
that they can join the fray. And
exactly. And even if you don't know if you're getting if you know you're getting a race car and you're not a junior late model driver, also remember we do have 5 packages over here at Jomo Media Promotions. We have the beefy package. We got our bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. You guys can find out what each package does over jomomedia.ca. All the information is there. Contact us, email me, find me on Facebook, Messenger, social medias, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. We love fueling your racing stories. So we're if anyone's interested in finding out more about what we can do for you guys, hit us up.
And don't forget the a la carte options too. Like, say maybe a package isn't right for you. You want, one of us to kind of help you out with like some hero cards or some smaller stuff. We can get you all hooked up with that. Like, it's one of those things we try to help drivers as much as we can.
Yep.
So we're here for the racing community.
Yep, we offer hero cards. We do offer single race day vlogs. We do so much.
There's gonna be a list just posted over here.
Yeah, I gotta finish the list together. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. And like, it's kind of like one of those things. Like there's 3 of us that do certain design stuff, and like you have your top quality, your mid quality, your like cheaper. Like we work with everyone's budgets and stuff like that. Like obviously we don't expect a bone stock person to have late model budgets to spend on certain things, and that's where we created the packages and have our tiers of service and stuff like that.
Yep.
So
exactly. Before we get out of here, though, I do want to mention one thing because I did mess up earlier. For any Jomo Media drivers, if you are a 2025 Jomo Media driver, there is special pricing for you with Darren Dryden and DJD gear. So if you're looking for a fire suit, shoes, gloves, whatever, I think it's just those 3 right now. But if you're looking to update your look at the track for next year, go over, talk to Darren, let him know you're a Jomo Media driver. He knows our list. He knows who's our drivers. And go get yourself looking sharp for next year. I know one person who got a new fire suit for the next year, and it's looking amazing.
Yeah, I think I know the same person, and like some of the cars that he's been kicking out of the shop lately too have been pretty fire.
Oh yeah, and Darren doesn't miss when he does a design.
He's got that dirt ideology in them. Yeah, I pronounced that word horribly, but like. He's like literally the bright colors, how to make the car pop, how to make the sponsor pop. And that's kind of where the asphalt world is lacking, because it's like the dirt world, the cars have always popped.
Yep.
And the asphalt cars are just starting to catch up. So
it's in a lot of cars, even his cars, they look amazing on track. So don't forget to give Darren a shout if you guys are looking for new fire suit, gloves, shoes, whatever. Even if you guys are looking for a new wrap for your race car, design for your helmet, whatever it is, go talk to Darren. He's got the know-how, and he's got the style to make you look good on track. But I think that's going to do it for us. I said we were going to be about 5-10 minutes. Of course, we went over because that's just Brandon and I. So we're going to get out of here. I hope you guys all enjoy. Have a great holidays. It doesn't matter what you celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is. Enjoy your celebration. Enjoy being around family. We will see you guys back here for the official first episode of 2025 of the True North Racing Podcast with Brandon and myself. But until then, happy holidays. Drive safe. We'll see you guys in the new year. See y'all.
Peace out.
Thanks for tuning in to the True North Racing Podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media for more racing content and updates. You can find Jomo Media and Promotions on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and at jomomedia.ca. Until next time, keep your engines running and your belts tight.